he was a transformer if there ever was one.
And he controls the tap. The Gales have the basketball first. Ryder in its road cranberry uniforms. The team from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, just north of Trenton, here in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
And you see these two teams, when they met in the regular season, both games decided in the last possession. Interestingly enough, one was played at a really high rate of speed and scoring, 100-96 in overtime. Second game, though, 61-59. So we expect the game to go up and down, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
A steal by Rashawn Dwight. He just hit the three. He'd love nothing more than to face his old high school teammate from Bloomfield Tech, Wesley Jenkins, tomorrow night in the championship. Glover loses the basketball to Novar Gadsden. Robinson with a burst of speed for two.
He hasn't played well in each of the last two games, but in the open floor, he's so quick with the basketball. I expect him to have a big game.
Machado turns it over. Time now for our coaching matchup, brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock. Tommy Dempsey in year number 6 as head coach at Rider University, the 2008 MAAC Coach of the Year. Well, Robinson last night seemed like he was more perimeter oriented, knocked down a couple of threes, but didn't drive to the basket as we saw on that last possession for Ryder. Danny Stewart, the MAAC Rookie of the Year, couldn't find the range. Smythe to Glover. A lot of traffic around, but he's still able to convert.
Yeah, good job pushing the pace by Kyle Smythe. It's usually Machado that gets himself into the lane to be able to find a big guy. Instead, Smythe turns the corner, gets by Ringgold. Looked like he was 55% on that play. Not the same quickness that you usually see out of Mike Ringgold.
And there you see Tim Cluse, first-year head coach at the Division I level, as is Iona Gales in search of their 22nd win of the year. Stewart, not accustomed to handling the ball in that situation, turned it over. Perhaps another three. Indeed it is. The senior from Newark, New Jersey's got 6 early points.
And another fast start. You talked about having won 8 in a row. In each of those 8 wins, they've gotten out to a quick start.
Gadsden just wills his way right to the bucket.
He's got that great combination of size, strength, and speed to be able to get there and then finish.
Glover from 17. And Glover knocks it out of bounds. Let's take a look at the Be Smart, Drive Smart keys to the game. Rob?
Well, first of all, for Ryder, biggest question, how's Ringgold's ankle? And then they got to make sure they get out and guard the three. As good as Glover is inside, it's the threes that'll kill you. For Iona, they've got to get Machado into the lane. All night long in the quarterfinals, he was in the lane, putting pressure on the defense.
Smythe, right to the hole.
Well, Kyle Smythe coming out. He's a guy that's known for his three-point shooting, and why not the way he's able to shoot the ball, but attacking the rim first couple of possessions.
I got a twofold question for you, Rod. If you're Iona, you clearly know Ringgold is not himself. As you see that right there, he's not able to move very well. If you're Iona, do you know that and go attack him every chance you can?
Yep, because they can, because they got a guy that can do it, especially if he's guarding inside in the post. Put it in Glover's hands.
And here's where the injury occurred last night. And you'll notice that it really doesn't look all that sinister. But he just limped away and spent the rest of the night doing that. Had an ice pack on it and received treatment today, but still clearly nowhere near the usual Mike Ringgold standards.
And remember, they were the late game last night. Started a little after 10 o'clock. Didn't get done until after midnight. So not a lot of turnaround time to heal and recoup.
So my second part of the question, Rob, if you're Tommy Dempsey, how long do you allow Mike Ringgold to play out there if he is so deficient?
Well, if it becomes a hindrance, maybe you get him out. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Tommy Dempsey will ride Mike Ringgold as long as he possibly can. He may not be their best player, but in Tommy Dempsey's mind, he's their most important and most valuable player. Does a little bit of everything, and most importantly, makes all those winning plays at key times.
And those stats you just saw are still good as well, but when you add the intangibles, he is as valuable as anybody to his team in this conference.
Yeah. He fills the stat sheet, but the stat sheet doesn't tell you anything about his importance to the team.
Yep. Third team all-conference. 4 minutes in, he's still on the floor trying to post up Mike Glover. Dustin Robinson back out to Miles. Thought Robinson had a clear lane to the bucket. Instead, it's a block shot coming back the other way. And Robinson took it back.
Now, two of the quickest point guards in the league going head-to-head.
And Gadsden will bring it back out. Here's Ringgold. Traveling violation. Our first media timeout has Mike Ringgold of the Rider Bronx down 4 for a spot in the MAAC championship game. The MAAC Television Network's coverage of the Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championships is available this year in high definition. And that will continue tomorrow in the finals for both the women and the men. In the afternoon, the women will play at 1 o'clock. That'll be 18th ranked Marist against Loyola. And then at night on ESPN2, a 7 o'clock tip between the St. Peter's Peacocks and one of these two teams, either Rider or Iona, on ESPN2 in crystal clear high definition. The lob to Glover was off the mark from Machado.
They almost scored it. Machado's pass nearly went in the basket. But they are able to do that. They do it not only on set plays, Doug, but they do such a great job of reading each other. We saw last night in their quarterfinal win against Siena, Glover just pointed up at one point in time, and Machado able to see it, recognize it, and put it right where it needed to be. He was open that time, just the pass was off the mark. Iona in the zone defense, and they will mix things up defensively. Throw a lot of different looks at you.
Shot clock down to 10. And a senior point guard from London, England, fires away.
And fires right over top of Machado as they end up matching up late in the possession. Good quick closeout on Smythe. Every time he catches the ball, you got to be at him at that three-point line. Got to guard the arc.
That's why you've got to guard the arc. Kyle Smythe, a 40% three-point shooter. One of a series of very good perimeter shooters on this Gales roster.
And they closed out the first time he touched the basketball, but then once he got into the corner, they lost track of him.
Anthony Miles wasn't happy that he didn't turn it over the first time, so he did it the second time. Or did he?
We talked about the fact that sometimes it's off a set play, sometimes just a little nonverbal communication. Glover pointed, and all of a sudden Machado put it right where it needed to be. And as you mentioned, Doug, it's not as if they've been playing together for 3 or 4 years, but they have a great knack of being able to read off of each other.
Tim Cluse has taken Scott Machado out of the ball game. And that was not a turnover for Rider, so the Bronx keep possession. Novar Gadsden to Ringgold. And he has enough lift to score against Glover.
And great feed by Gadsden. Got into the defense, collapsed a couple guys on him, able to get Ringgold going.
There you see the shooting to start the ball game, our second MAAC semifinal. Iona with a 2-point lead. Jermel Jenkins in the backcourt. Again, Smythe finds himself wide open, and he goes and gets his own miss.
Yeah, so their first miss from 3, they convert into a made free by getting an extra opportunity on the offensive glass.
Rashawn Dwight, 3 3-pointers so far. He suffered a partially torn Achilles back in January that limited him for a while. Here's Smythe on a steal. Off to Jenkins. Iona up by 7.
And they're a team that can string together runs because of the way they can score it so quickly.
Brandon Penn into the ballgame, hands to his classmate Gadsden. And then the foul by Penn. Oh, no foul, just knocked out of bounds.
And much like last night when Smythe had great energy in their quarterfinal win, he's got the energy today, knocking down threes, leading the break. We've seen him a couple of times get himself deep into the lane and find teammates.
Alejo Rodriguez in the game now for Iona. Rodriguez from the high post. Now that's a rainbow shot.
Yeah, this is a guy who's been on fire as far as shooting the basketball. 24 of 27 from the field in the last 6 games. Wouldn't know it from that one.
Well, he was the runaway winner of the league's best field goal percentage at 69%. His teammate Mike Glover was a full 10 points behind him.
Yep, and what does Kyle Smythe do? Picks up a charge. He gives up his body, and again, in the scouting report, you got to know that. You cannot lower your shoulder. He's moving, but the contact is initiated by Penn because he drops that shoulder.
Iona by 7 with the basketball. Jermel Jenkins, a junior from Union, New Jersey, off to Dwight. He's considered the vocal leader on this team. After hitting 3 from beyond the arc, he misfires from about 10 feet away. A slip by Miles right on the logo there, which we see from time to time. Chris Pelcher just into the game for Iona. Setting the screens at the head of the key. Helps Smythe to find the open look. And it rims out.
Great execution. Got exactly what they wanted. Call from the sideline by Tim Clues. Everything but the bucket.
Now Ringgold going to work. Air ball. Glover just going by himself coast to coast. Smythe again. Brandon Penn will hand it off to Anthony Miles.
And the Rider offense not quite as efficient when Robinson's out of the ball game. He'll come in on the next whistle.
Now look for this man, Novar Gadsden, to get it going. He was fouled on the drive, personal against Dwight. Each of the last 2 games of the regular season, Gadsden scored 24 points in each. He had 11 late last night. And we've got ourselves a timeout. Kyle Smythe and the Iona Gales off to a quick start here in Bridgeport. Iona head coach Tim Clues knows that his sophomore guard from New Jersey, Kyle Smythe, who has a reputation, rightly so, as a three-point shooter, brings so much more to the table, Rob.
And it starts with his ability to knock down threes, but he's been able to beat guys off the bounce, getting himself deep into the lane. But this is where he hangs his hat. The ability to stretch out defenses, but he's got the energy here tonight. Bounce pass out in transition, and then he does a great job of giving up his body defensively all season long. He leads the Gales in charges taken, and I guarantee you he's at the top of the league in that category as well.
Well, he and Robert Goldsberry for Canisius love to throw their body in there regardless of the size of the opponent. Three-point shot is pure for Patrick Mansell.
And that's a situation where that's all that Patrick Mansell can do and all that he wants to do. In the scouting report, all you got to do is crowd out at him and make him put the ball to the floor. Nobody in his area.
Nobody in this area. And Jenkins answers with a 3 of his own.
And Jenkins, another guy that can stroke it from deep. He and Smythe neck and neck in the all-time list at Iona. 6 and 7 chasing each other.
Now this Iona team back in November at Albany knocked down 18 three-pointers, a school record.
And they've set a single-season school record already now with over 253, so they can kill you from deep and in transition.
Dwight with 11. A layup off the feed from Jenkins.
And we talked about it last night. When you look at them and you look at their offensive numbers, they lead the league in scoring. And when you look at it, you say, okay, why? Well, one of the reasons why is they have really good offensive sets in the half court. They put a lot of emphasis on the offensive end. And then it helps when you got guys that are really good individual offensive players.
Terrific look from Penn into Robinson. Scott Machado back on the floor for Iona. The young man who is third in the country in assists per game. The junior point guard for the Gales. Rashawn Dwight just keeps firing.
And look how they share the basketball, though. 5 guys touch the ball on that possession. Top 5 in the country at over 17 assists per game. When you share the basketball like that, you get really good flow on the offensive end.
Well, Dwight averages 8 per game. He's already got 14. His career high 19. There he is pulling down a defensive rebound.
Now, I think Ryder's got to settle in, force Iona to guard you for stretches of a possession.
A rare miss from beyond the three-point line for Iona. Quick shot by the Bronx, and here come the Gales the other way.
And I just think that plays right into Iona's hands.
Jenkins stepped down the sideline, and he turns it over to Ryder.
Iona guarded pretty good last night. You know, we talk about their offense all the time, but good defensive effort last night against Siena. But the Gales don't like to guard you for a whole long stretch on the defensive side. So if you're patient on the offense and get some patient possessions, I think they can break down late in the shot clock.
I'm going to ask you, Rob, who does like to guard for 35 seconds?
St. Peter.
Well, they do it well. There's no question about that. Inside Penn for 2.
And that's a better possession. Take some time, force them to guard you, find a good shot. Make sure you don't waste possessions.
Machado. Pelcher trying to clean it up. And he does.
Well, he's a guy who wasn't getting a whole lot of run early in the season, but has really come on here over the last couple of weeks.
As we head to break, we watch the Iona Gales at their best. Defense turned to offense. Rashawn Dwight has had the hot hand. And then Chris Pelcher, the young man out of Albany, New York, with the putback. Back here in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Iona with a 10-point lead over Ryder. And we bring back in the third member of our team, Joe Boylan. Joe?
Well, it's very interesting when you watch Iona play because at times they just make offense look so easy. And it doesn't have to be the big guys, Mike Glover, because when you look at what Rashawn Dwight has done, I mean, he's 5 out of 6. But I'm just amazed sometimes how easy they score the ball. And Rob's absolutely right. One way to slow down an offensive team is to make them play defense because they don't like to do that. And it kind of gets them out of their rhythm on the defensive end. So we'll see if Ryder can do that. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Joe. Pelcher misfires from the free throw line, but as you saw, Dwight, as Joe mentioned, off to the fast start. The senior out of Bloomfield Tech in Newark, New Jersey. A couple of first-team all-conference guards going at it in this one. Gadsden. Jenkins had it taken away. And here comes Robinson for the easy 2.
Wow, second terrific feed from Penn to find Robinson at the rim. Usually the other way around.
Dwight goes away from the screen. And he is fouled by Gadsden.
Terrific hustle right here as Penn pokes it away. And smart bounce pass right there. That's the only way it's getting through, and Robinson won't find an easier bucket all night.
Robinson now with 9 points to lead Ryder.
And now Ryder in the zone. Remember, you got a shade, especially to Smythe's side. You also got to worry about both Machado and Dwight. A lot harder to play zone when they can stretch 3 real good three-point shooters out behind the arc.
Randy DeZouvre, the other Gale on the perimeter, number 23 in white. Not a three-point threat. This is DeZouvre with under 10 now to shoot. Dwight puts it up. And there's Smythe with the hustle. Into Pelcher, back out to Machado.
That's moving the basketball. A little anticipation by Gene Steratore, who looks back, doesn't like the reaction. Well, Smythe attacks the rim. Look at the ball move, though. Everybody touching it. Machado gets into the lane. Good block. A little frustration from Gadsden. Knows he got most of the ball. 2 shots.
Second foul on Gadsden with DeZouvre at the line. There's Mike Glover into the game. Only 3 points so far here in the first half after his 31-point performance against Siena in last night's quarterfinal round. And DeZouvre played a good game against Siena as well. He had 10 points in the ball game and 2 quick points off the bench now for him.
And he's come on, had a good game against St. Peter's in the second to last game of the regular season. A guy who usually brings them energy. Now he's giving them some scoring as well.
Stewart lost it.
Good defense by Glover right there to hold his ground. Glover just moves his feet and takes away the baseline.
Machado eyes the defense from the wing. Dwight. Well short. And it's Ryder basketball. Well, we must say that the Ryder students have made the trip back from Lawrenceville. A bus came up yesterday for the quarterfinals, and after the late game went home, back to Central Jersey, and then has made the trip back up. And actually, both schools in this game pretty well represented. Penn for 3.
That's what he does. He can stretch the defense out. 43% on the season from deep. And Ringgold's been on the bench there, Doug, for an extended time.
DeZouvre off the mark. Mansell the rebound.
And they go to the zone with Ringgold, one of their better on-the-ball defenders on the bench.
Penn's feeling it, but not so much.
A little too deep.
Machado. Glover.
Boy, do they come at you quick.
Little tomahawk action for the young man with the mohawk.
Here comes the double. If you handle that initial trap, you can get good looks at the backside. Ryder handles the ball well enough that Iona's got to be careful when they come and just go bum rush the basketball with 2 defenders.
Tough pass to handle. Machado, the last to touch, so the Bronx will keep it with 11 on the shot clock.
Oh, look at this speed. Not only the guy with the ball in his hands, but the guy filling the lane. I mean, that is coming at you in a hurry.
And Machado does a nice enough job to hold the ball long enough to draw that second defender and leave Glover wide open.
He's really athletic for a point guard. As is Glover athletic for a 4-man, running the floor and filling. And both of them have that combination of speed and power. A little bit different, but Tim Clues certainly knows how important each of those guys is to his team. And coming into the tournament, talked about how a good case could be made for each of those guys to be the player of the year in the league. And when you've got 2 guys even in that conversation, you know you've got something special.
Robinson. That's a 2. 11 points now for the senior from London, England.
One thing the zone has done is it slowed down Iona a little bit and gotten them out of that real good offensive rhythm they had going. You just wonder if you can give him a steady diet of it with the guys that can spot behind the three.
Nice, tough shot by Machado.
Doesn't matter man or zone, he finds a way to get into that lane.
The junior from St. Benedict's Prep in New Jersey has his first 2 points. Foul off the ball. And Randy DeZouvre is the offending party for the Gales. Media timeout here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The fans from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, hoping their Rider Bronx can cut that 9-point deficit before halftime. Welcome back to the Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Iona leads our second semifinal by 9 points. Well, the MAAC now has an app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod. The app delivers instant updates, including MAAC news, scores, and standings straight to your iPhone, iPad, or iPod. Log on to the iTunes Store, search MAAC Sports, and download your free MAAC app today.
Chris O'Connor multitasking there, serving as a red cap, also working his cell phone.
Nice job by Alejo Rodriguez not to allow Mansell to get off a shot.
Again, that's a scouting report. You got to cheat to him, and you got to make sure you crowd him on the line.
Trying to draw the foul.
Yeah,
didn't get the call.
He got contact.
Glover hammered from behind.
And real good body control by Glover to make sure he changed direction to avoid the contact and then found the contact himself.
Mike Glover originally went to Seton Hall, never suited up for the Pirates. He was declared ineligible and wound up out of the College of Eastern Utah before coming back east. The Bronx native thought he was headed to St. Francis of New York until Brian Nash stepped down as the head coach, and Optimus Prime, as you see in his hair there, wound up signing late with Iona, and the folks in New Rochelle are certainly glad they got him. After that 31-point, 11-rebound quarterfinal, Glover comes into this game averaging 18.3 points and 10.3 rebounds on the year. Mike Ringgold back into the ball game, had it knocked away.
You see limping back the other way. Certainly not at 100%, that's for sure. They're going to get Alejo Rodriguez on a legal screen as he set it and then kind of backed his way in to clear space.
And again, had a chance to ask Mike Ringgold right before tip-off here tonight. How's your ankle? About 50%. And with a sly smile, he said maybe 55. And based on what we've seen from him, I'm not so sure it's even close to 50%. But he's given him all he's got.
And a lot of his game is predicated on his speed. You know, you look at his size at 6'7". He can't shoot the ball past 4 or 5 feet, but he's so effective because he's so quick. Quick to the basketball and quick off his feet. And that ankle injury has certainly slowed him down a bit.
Well, he's a guy who has a guard's quickness playing the forward position. So almost any time he gets the ball in the lane, he's going to be quicker than the guy guarding him.
Yep, he's got the quickness of a guard and the basketball IQ of a guard to go with it, and that's a pretty good combination. Why he's so effective despite the fact he can't really shoot the basketball.
Now Novar Gadsden receiving treatment on the end of the Rider bench. Smythe from 22.
He's had a couple of open looks the last couple of times. And timeout by Tommy Dempsey. Early on, he was guarded, knocking down more difficult three-point shots. The last couple, he's had time to tee it up, just hasn't been able to convert.
And so at the timeout, Tommy Dempsey trying to draw something up for his club that's down by 8. Well, if you can't make it here to Webster Bank Arena at Harbor Yard to see the Spark Energy MAAC Men's Championship game in person, be sure to watch it live tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2 HD. It'll be the St. Peter's Peacocks against either Rider or Iona. That's tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2 HD.
Iona got off to that torrid start from beyond the 3 early on, knocked down 4 out of their first 5. Since then, they've cooled down. Tommy Dempsey's team doing a better job of guarding the arc. Just 2 of 8 since that hot start from Iona from behind the 3.
And most of that start was Rashawn Dwight, and most of the trouble since has been Smythe.
Yep.
Ringgold, Robinson, Penn, Stewart, and Miles on the floor. Here's Penn trying the 3 shot again, and he misses another. Quickly leaking out. Glover!
Glover just running the floor. Great feed ahead to be able to find him. That's where Ringgold's ankle really came into play. He could not run up the floor and stay with the big guy, Mike Glover.
Robinson has been the only offensive option for Rider so far here tonight. They need something from somebody else. Penn tries to provide.
And remember, Gadsden, who usually gives them a lot of offense, he's down at the end of the bench nursing an injury. And Mike Ringgold's starting to limp even more noticeably. So they're right now without 2 of their best offensive options.
Machado, no. And Robinson dribbles out.
And here's where maybe you settle down, try to take the last shot. Well, that was a close play. They get the block call. Iona does a great job of converting at the other end quickly. Talk about running the floor, filling lanes. Well, Mike Glover, we've seen it a couple of times. He's out as fast as just about any power forward you're going to see at any level.
Yeah, he's 6'7", 215. That's what he's listed, but he really moves that 215 extremely well.
And you talk about a power forward. He's all about power. Now with the shot clock off, if you're Rider and you can get something quickly off the baseline out of bounds, fine. If not, bring the basketball back out and hold for the last shot.
Shot clock is off. And so Justin Robinson, who leads everybody with 13 points, everybody in Cranberry that is. Rashawn Dwight is the high scorer in the game with 14 for Iona.
I think Tommy Dempsey would be happy to get into the locker room, see if you can't get Gadsden back healthy, and see if you can't all of a sudden get yourself that second scoring option that they haven't been able to have.
5 on the clock. Miles has to go. The heave would count, but it's well short. Rashawn Dwight, the 6'3" senior, heads to the locker room having nearly doubled his season average in points. And because of that, Iona has itself an 8-point lead. Our score at halftime, Iona 38, Rider 30. We'll be back to Bridgeport with a MAAC halftime report right after this. Robinson, Miles, Stewart, Gadsden, and Ringgold. The same starting 5 here in the second half for the Rider Broncs. Machado with the strip, but the ball comes to Stewart.
No reset on the shot clock, so they got to make sure they attack.
Inside out they go, and Robinson with the perfect swish.
And that's the importance of Ringgold, even on one leg, to be able to be smart enough to draw the defense and then kick it out to their best outside shooter.
16 points for Robinson to lead all scorers. The shot clock and the clock itself, neither of them is running, and neither official has noticed it.
Well, Brian O'Connell now does, and so they'll have to go back and check the tape to get the clock reset.
And it went for quite a while before anybody noticed.
Anybody but you, of course.
No, I'm not the one who noticed.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
Fine statistician John next to me is the one who got Brian's attention. shouted out, and then Brian was like, whoa, let's stop the ball game.
A broken play, keep it alive, and it stops at 19:40, and you're right, it went for a while. Here's that nice inside out on the kick out. They're going to have to get a stopwatch and try to figure out how much time needed to come off the clock. Second time we've seen a clock malfunction so far here this afternoon.
And again, a whole possession goes, and nobody noticed. I think we might be to our first media timeout. It ran so long. Or didn't run for so long. So again, as Coach Kennedy said, there should be a stopwatch over there so that they can time it out and figure exactly how much time was missed.
And especially since they've had a problem not only earlier today, but a couple of different times during the season they've had some problems with that clock.
So it stops running for some reason right there. So now the guys in the truck are also counting along to see if we can't figure out exactly how much time should be taken off the clock.
Oh, good. So I don't need my stopwatch here as I go into my bag to pull it out.
There you go.
Let's get this game moving along. Huh?
I can do it too. Well, that's a good 20 seconds at least. Now they've changed the clock in the arena to 19:12.
So in the truck they had it at 29 seconds. It stopped at 19:40, right?
Gene Steratore, who is also an NFL official, over making sure they've got it right. He should be used to going over and looking at a replay in a hood.
Yeah, under the hood.
Holding foul against Dwight, trying to keep Justin Robinson from getting free. Second foul on Dwight. And the first foul for either side here in the second half. Timeout used by Ryder as Miles couldn't find anyone to pass the inbound to. Tommy Dempsey and his Ryder Bronx down by 5. Peters head coach John Dunn talking with the voice of the Peacocks, Joey Waller. Lots to smile about for the Peacocks after they won their semifinal earlier today, 62-48. So the Peacocks will be in the 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championship game, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. The women's championship is at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. For tickets, log on to MAACsports.com or call 1-800-745-3000. Or right here at the Webster Bank Arena at Harbor Yard box office, the 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championships. Every game counts.
There was a hustle by Kyle Smythe to come running through on that handoff, get his hand on the basketball, and force the tie-up.
Dwight goes to his offhand, the right hand, and he's fouled by Ringgold. Second foul on number 2, Mike Ringgold.
Look at Glover. He clears space, and what it allows is that driving lane. Just Glover sitting in the post forces the defense to collapse on him.
Make sure to follow the latest MAAC happenings on the MAAC Twitter page at twitter.com/MAACsports. Dwight now with 16 points. He and Justin Robinson share game-high honors. Glover's going to be whistled for the reach-in foul. First foul on number 1, Mike Glover. Ringgold, back door, And the easy two for Novar Gadsden.
Well, he catches it at the three-point line. No one's going to guard him, so he puts himself in a position to make a play. Instead of standing there, he drives it in and forces the defense to guard him.
Smythe missed the two-point try. Alejo Rodriguez pulls it back out to Machado. It's been a quiet ball game so far for the all-conference point guard Scott Machado. Alejo Rodriguez begging for the basketball. Instead, Machado fires over the top and hits.
He said, "You want a little noise? Here it comes."
Gadsden's shot off the mark. And the Gales coming right back at you. Terrific steal by Robinson. And here is Novar Gadsden by himself.
Well, there's an easy one. How about the quickness and speed as Smythe went down hard at the other end. Grabbing his left shoulder.
Well, Rob, you've talked about the style of play that Kyle Smythe puts out there every game and every practice. He suffered a concussion in a practice back in January, cost some time, and he's holding his shoulder right now.
You see, as soon as he went down, he started grabbing it. The speed of Justin Robinson to get back there, he got his hand on the basketball, but with that force as he slapped down on the ball, looked like the left shoulder or arm there of Smythe. And as soon as he was going down, he was grabbing it.
No question. Well, that would be a big loss for the Gales if Smythe can't come back in. Those statistics only tell part of the story about what he's brought to the table for Iona so far here tonight.
And when he first went down, I thought maybe it popped out, but doesn't look like that was the case.
Jermel Jenkins hits the three.
And that's why they're so tough. It's not just one guy like Smythe that can knock down threes. And Jenkins at 37% himself, a terrific three-point shooter.
Gadsden gets it back and puts it in. And he's got a chance for three.
So score that assist to yourself, huh? A little smile from Gadsden. Tried to force it, had an open man, saw the lane, bounce pass might have gotten there. Or maybe he was just thinking about assisting his own play.
Well, instead of a possible turnover, he's got a chance for three. And we saw Gadsden late in the first half receiving some medical treatment, and he still seems to have a little hitch in his giddy-up, but he's off to a quick start here in the second half. Up to 12 points now for the 6'7" junior from Philadelphia.
And the Rocks back into the zone defense, collapse, and force a turnover.
Ryder down 6 with the ball. Gadsden.
Got to be a little careful trying to force things. Nearly got out of control.
14 points now for Gadsden. He has scored Ryder's last 9 points to pull the Bronx within 4.
Alejo wide open at the foul line against that zone.
Dwight blocked by Miles. And it's Ryder basketball. Nope, now they've changed the call. Brian O'Connell pointed in the wrong direction.
They get dribble penetration against the zone. It collapses 3 Cranberry jerseys in the lane. Great defensive recovery to go challenge it by Miles.
And a good job by Brian O'Connell to recognize his cranberry from his white and correct his mistake very quickly. Well, the headline of the tournament so far was our semifinal from this afternoon, where the top-seeded Fairfield Stags suffered the first true upset of this MAAC championship. We did have a 9 takeout and 8 a couple of days ago, but not really an upset there. But what John Dunn St. Peter's Peacocks did earlier today to make it to the finals is the big headliner.
Especially how they did it in that first half.
Foul on Gadsden as he and Glover battled for position. There you see John Dunn again, just enjoying himself after nearly seeing a 40-15 halftime lead disappear. A little more relaxed than he was about 2 hours ago.
Yeah, especially during that run as Fairfield got themselves back in the ballgame. Cut that 25-point halftime lead down to 6. I guarantee he wasn't smiling then.
But his team did a nice job to right the ship, made a few adjustments, and they held on.
Well, Iona getting a couple extra opportunities. Ryder out of the zone, doesn't block out, corral the rebound. 2 second chance opportunities, and they finally cash in.
Machado now with 7. Gadsden fouled by Mike Glover. That's number 2 on Glover. Take a break from Bridgeport, Connecticut, with Iona leading by 6. Welcome back to the Spark Energy MAAC Championship presented by Pepsi Max. Ryder hanging in there, down 6 early second half. And their walking wounded have been contributing. Mike Ringgold suffered a fairly serious ankle injury in last night's quarterfinal round, but he's doing, Rob, what he can. Yeah, getting himself into the lane, utilizing his ball skills and basketball IQ. And then Gadsden using that big body, his powerful explosiveness to the basket, able to get them back on track. You look at Ryder, they've shot the ball so well throughout the game. How about 5 of 6 here in this second half? Really efficient all game long at 53%. And Gadsden has scored the last 9 Ryder points. Stewart had his pocket pick, and Iona back the other way.
And that's been the problem. Despite shooting it so well, they've now turned it over 11 times.
A terrific look from Jermel Jenkins to Alejo Rodriguez.
Everybody shares the basketball. Not just the point guard that's second best in the country in assists. Everybody gives it up.
There's Ringgold. Up and over Glover.
And you got to go at Glover. He's got 2 fouls. He's not a guy that really wants to defend you that much. He doesn't want to get himself in foul trouble, so you got to be able to make him pay for that. Plays behind in the post. Good solid defense by Glover as he challenged it. But if you can go at him, by all means, go.
And Rob, do you remember how adept Bernard King used to be at shooting the ball on the way up? He was able to get his shot off before the defender was able to get up and block it. And I get that sense about Ringgold, even with the bad ankle. On that shot, he was able to get it up and over before Glover even got off the ground.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Able to sneak it by the defender before he's able to get it at its apex.
Dwight, like he started the ball game, knocking down another 3.
And again, got off to that terrific start from beyond the three-point line. Ringgold a little slow on that closeout, would regularly be there if that ankle was 100%.
Rob, that matches a career high for Rashawn Dwight, now with 19 points. He's done it against Cleveland State and Marist this year. And now he's done the same to Ryder.
And there's Ringgold going right at Glover.
Machado had Jenkins in his sight the entire way down the floor. And that combination gives the Gales 3 more.
He had everybody in his sight. His head was on a swivel, looking to see what was developing. They do a great job of diving guys into the post and then fanning those three-point shooters out to the three-point line. We talked about Ringgold maybe a little slow on the closeout. If he's 100%, maybe he gets there in time to be able to bother that shot from Dwight. Instead, he's a little slow getting there, and Dwight's got his 5th 3 of the ball game. On the other side in transition, spotting up as well, Jermel Jenkins with his 3rd 3. So Iona already with 10 threes on the ball game. Said one of the keys was to guard the arc. Well, they're not guarding the arc right now.
And because of those consecutive threes, Iona's got its largest lead of the night, and Mike Ringgold is over on the bench. So I asked you in the first half, at what point does Tommy Dempsey say, Mike, I appreciate the effort, but we've got to have someone else out there. Perhaps he's seen at the defensive end, not being able to get out like he normally would on Dwight. Perhaps.
Yep, and this is a team that's not very deep for Tommy Dempsey. Throughout the season, it's basically been an 8-man rotation, and that rotation cut short with the suspension coming in of Jonathan Thompson. So they lose another one of those options off the bench. And if Ringgold can't play now, all of a sudden you really don't have numbers. And you need numbers against Iona because they come at you in waves.
10 for Glover. Robinson can't answer. And here come the Gales once again.
And he's got to get a foul call there. Way too much contact for no whistle. This isn't the NFL.
Well, now the game has really heated up, and Jenkins slows Robinson down with a body block.
And Tommy Dempsey still complaining about that non-call at the other end. Here's Machado. Look at his head. He's got his eyes up, seeing where everybody's going, and terrific bounce pass right on the money inside to Glover.
And you can see why Machado leads the MAAC in assists per game and is third in the country. That's his 8th here tonight. Danny Stewart unhappy with that call. He's still scoreless, the MAAC Rookie of the Year.
Well, here's the call that Tommy Dempsey was upset at. He thought there was some contact, not up top, but on the body. And not only was Tommy Dempsey upset, but his star guard Robinson was as well.
Now, Rob, you've talked about the need to guard the arc if you're right, or Iona just continues for this entire weekend so far. As Rodriguez tips it in, will they count the basket? No. They say basket interference, so no bucket.
Good call. Ball was still in the cylinder.
But in the 2 games, last night and tonight, Iona has gone 19 of 37 from beyond the three-point line. Miles is on the board now, along with Joe Boylan and Rod Kennedy. This is Doug Sherman. Our second MAAC semifinal with a spot against St. Peter's on the line for tomorrow night's championship game.
And Doug, you were talking about those three-point numbers, a perfect 12-0 on the season when they shoot it at 50% or better from beyond the three. It's amazing enough that you would have 12 games in a season that you shoot it at 50%. And once again, doing the same here, above 50% now from beyond the arc.
There you see the success against Siena in last night's quarterfinal rout, and they're doing it again here tonight. Gadsden tries to quiet the crowd from New Rochelle.
And they've got to come up with some stops at this end.
Well, that'll count as a stop. The Gales turn it back over to Ryder, and Ryder will have the ball when we come back. Alejo Rodriguez getting an earful from Tim Cluse. Well, three-point shooting, a big part of what Iona does. And because of that, the Gales have opened up a 12-point lead. Iona's lead stands at 12, and in spite of that, the Gales head coach Tim Cluse still, as we head to that last time out, getting after Alejo Rodriguez, still coaching, still trying to make sure he gets his point across to his 5th-year senior. And again, as we talked about, this is the first Division I coaching job for Tim Cluse after a terrific run as a high school coach on Long Island, where St. Mary's for a time was the #1 team in the country, and then on to the college ranks. 4 years at CW Post, a terrific program at the Division II level, and then Iona College hired him this year, and he's done a terrific job as Gales have won 8 in a row and in command for a spot in the MAAC Finals.
The biggest thing he did is change how they played offense. This was a team really built around defense last year under Kevin Willard, and now it's all about the offense.
Machado knows that he's going to have Glover trailing.
Yeah, and if you have him trailing, you might as well get him the basketball. You want to lead the country in assists as he has throughout parts of this year. I'd find him every time. Double-digit assists again for Scott Machado. He's got 9 double-doubles on the season. They were all points and assists.
Nice feed from Glover, but Penn had his shot deflected. Gadsden remains hot here in the second half.
And they're going to need some of those energy plays. It's amazing when you look at their offensive numbers this year, Doug. A 13-point increase in their points per game. They come in averaging over 79 points per game on the season. They've been really efficient offensively.
But a closeout by Penn defensively that time to get in Jenkins' face.
And it's not just about possessions, because they're shooting it at 48% as well.
Miles spotting up. He's got the range.
And that was a tough shot because Machado came out and challenged it. Bronx got the lead back down into single digits. Got to come up with a couple of stops now.
Well, even though Iona's had a terrific season under their first-year head coach, Tim Cluse does say the transition continues. I mean, you don't just flip a switch and have everything work out. Players getting used to a coach and the new system, and the coach getting used to the players.
Yeah, but it seems like that comfort level has really settled in late in the season.
Good looking set right there. Rodriguez, the easy two off the feed from Jenkins.
But they don't get back in transition, and so they score it quickly at one end, but you got to have stops at the other.
Machado going to work on Penn. Jenkins from well beyond the three-point line. And rather than posing after knocking down that three, after his head coach starts screaming at him to get back, Jenkins realizes, oh, that's right. That's what I just did the last time.
Good drag behind, though, to find another look from Jenkins, who's on fire from deep himself.
Ringgold to the left hand. A little bit short. Will Ryder have enough answers? Down 12 with 8:37 remaining.
Oh, trying to ride the hot hand of Jenkins.
Robinson from the head of the key. Machado going 1-on-2. Looks like a running back the way he cups that basketball. And a foul against the Bronx.
There's this drag behind, and Jenkins stepping right into it with a lot of confidence. And there's Tim Cluse and Mark Calzanetti, the coaching staff there. Get back, get back. No need to start posing.
Now Jenkins has 17 points. 19 for Rashawn Dwight, matching a career high, and 12 for Mike Glover. Pass intended for Pelcher goes out of bounds.
Too tough for the big guy to handle that one.
We'll step away with 7:48 on the clock. Jenkins and the Gales on top by a dozen. The 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championships are brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. FYE, strictly for your entertainment. New York Life Insurance Company. Learn more at newyorklife.com. And by the 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championships. Buy your tickets today on Ticketmaster.com, MAACsports.com, or by calling 1-800-745-3000. The 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championships. Every game counts. Along with Joe Boylan and Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman, back in Bridgeport, Connecticut, at the Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championship, presented by Pepsi Max. And our second semifinal is coming down to crunch time. As we take a look at our stat track, Iona leads by 12. Pelcher clears the miss after a terrific look out of the timeout, but Gatson could not convert.
Yeah, you're right. Good execution. Well-designed play. Put the basketball right where it needed to be, but Gatson couldn't finish.
Another feed intended for Pelcher, but it went right through his hands out of bounds.
But that one Pelcher should have been able to come up with. The earlier one was a little bit too low. Bad pass. That was right on the mark.
Well, we've got a report about the injured shoulder of Kyle Smythe, who's no longer on the Iona bench. It's a slight strain of the rotator cuff, and so we're not sure whether we'll see him again tonight.
That could be a big factor if Iona's able to hang on and Tim Plouse's team is able to advance to the final against St. Peter's. And certainly Smythe, the guy that can stretch out that defense with his three-point shooting.
Under 7 minutes remaining in regulation. Jenkins for another three.
And again, they collapse in off them by the dribble penetration off that little weave handoff. Dwight turns the corner and sucks the defender in with them. You got to stay with them out on the three-point line with the way that Jenkins is shooting the basketball.
Now Jenkins is within one of his career high, which was 21 against Albany. In that game where the Gales knocked down 18 three-pointers, they've made 13 so far here tonight.
Well, your first reaction and inclination as a player is to help to the basketball, but Miles overcommits to the help, and that allows the open three.
Fourth foul on Gadsden. And there you see the record for most three-point field goals made in a MAAC tournament game. And oh, by the way, that was also the day that Hank Gathers died on the West Coast, when LaSalle was just about to knock off Siena in the MAAC semifinal round. Word trickled into the then Knickerbocker Arena in Albany down to the LaSalle bench that many of the LaSalle players who had grown up in Philadelphia with Hank Gathers found out. It was a very emotional time and one of those MAAC memories, for better or for worse, that's featured right now and on the MAACsports.com website as we celebrate 30 years of MAAC basketball. But this Iona team now 2 off that LaSalle record from 21 years ago. Foul before the shot. Anthony Miles, the offending party, his first personal foul. And it's only the 5th against Ryder here in the second half. Iona's only been called for 6 fouls.
And against the Gales, it's kind of pick your poison as they struggle to get it inbound. Tim Plouse takes a timeout. But it's pick your poison. If you're going to go guard out at the three-point line, then all of a sudden Mike Glover has a lot of space to work with inside. But the way they shoot the ball from beyond the three, I think you're better off trying to take away the three, even if it means you're going to give up some points inside to the big guy.
The MAAC basketball championships are heading to Springfield, Massachusetts. Springfield's Mass Mutual Center will host the championships for the next 3 years through 2014. For more information on the 2012 championships, log on to MAACsports.com. And don't forget tomorrow night, right here in Bridgeport, Connecticut, you have a chance to see the St. Peter's Peacocks take on the winner of this ball game for the MAAC title game. And you can see it on ESPN 2 HD. Again, 7 o'clock tip-off here in Bridgeport. (71-57) our score. Iona up by 14 with under 6 minutes on the clock. Down 14 at this point. Any need for Ryder to change it up defensively or try to change things up?
Well, they got to come up with a stop. Even if you stay in the same defense, what you got to do is you got to start hugging that three-point line.
Pelcher got in deep, and that was easy over Penn.
Like I said, pick your poison. And there's an unforced error as Ryder's ship is starting to take on some water. Iona wasn't even up in the full court pressure. Here again, nice pick and roll. And look at the seal by Pelcher to get the defender on his back. And then inbounding the basketball, Ryder just stepped over the line. An unforced error for that turnover.
And just like that, Iona's got itself a 16-point lead, its largest of the ball game and the basketball, with just over 5 minutes on the clock.
Doug, in the midst of this 8-game win streak, they've not been squeaking by in single digits. They've been blowing people out. Those quick starts, and then with that offensive firepower, they've been able to hold on to it. And that's the same script they're writing once again here this evening.
Well, they beat Siena by 30 points last night, 94-64. And then down the stretch, they beat Manhattan 102-65, beat Marist by 15, beat Manhattan again by 18. And interesting as I look at the schedule, back on February 25th, not that long ago, at St. Peter's, Iona went to Jersey City, a game you and I did, and came away with a 73-59 victory that was pretty convincing.
Yeah, it wasn't even as close as the score. They had a huge run in about the middle of the first half and then put the game away literally in the first 5 minutes of the second half when they came out with a burst of speed and a terrific run to put that game away and just coasted to that final score.
Gadsden knocked it out of bounds. Iona will keep possession.
Matter of fact, in both their ball games against St. Peter's this season, they were able to handle the Peacocks pretty easily. Not only the blowout win on the road that was not as close as that final score would tell you, but also with a convincing win at home by 18.
Hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, though.
Also hard to stop a team that's on a big-time roll. And they're playing with great confidence, and not just confidence. It's not just about energy, it's about execution. I mean, they are putting on a clinic offensively throughout this last part of the season.
Jenkins. And then Dwight and Robinson come together and a foul is called. A little bit of jawing, so the officials step in. Justin Robinson called for the foul. And the Iona Gales are 3 minutes and 42 seconds away from a trip to the MAAC championship. Iona has stretched its lead to 16 here late in the second half with a spot in the MAAC championship game riding on the outcome. And in celebration of its 30th anniversary, the MAAC has compiled 30 memorable MAAC moments on Facebook. Check out the MAAC Facebook page at facebook.com/MAAC Sports to see all 30 moments and tell us what your favorite MAAC moment is. Iona led by 8 at halftime, 38-30, and Ryder has not really been able to make a push. Pelcher with the dunk and the foul on Gadsden.
Everybody getting into the act, and you see the big guy with a nice point, an acknowledgement of the terrific feed as Pelcher's able to finish strong. There's a nice pass by the big guy, Glover. He's more excited about that pass than a couple of his dunks.
5th foul on Gadsden, so his evening is through. A terrific second half performance by Novar Gadsden, in spite of some injury trouble that we saw early in the or late in the first half. He had that big second half with the smiles on the Iona bench. We also see that Kyle Smythe has come back from the Iona locker room with that shoulder injury that's been diagnosed as a strain of the rotator cuff. Don't know about his status for tomorrow night, assuming the Gales hang on here.
And how about the hustle of Dwight there on the missed foul shot? You're up comfortably. Most guys just head to the other end. Instead, stayed involved with the play and knocked it out off of one of the Ryder players. And now, much like they were able to do the other night, it looks like Tim Plus is going to his bench and get guys out of the ballgame. That was the key with that big run that they had in the second half against Siena last night, able to get all of his starters out with about 5-6 minutes left and allow them to get some rest to keep fresh legs.
Robinson, no.
Robinson, after that terrific first half, just 1 of 6 here in the second half.
Here's Glover. Lost it on the way up, though. Pelcher just continues to contribute.
Yeah, how about Pelcher, a forgotten man early in the season? You see Kyle Smythe back on the bench, big smile on his face. There's another assist from Mike Glover. Maybe not quite by design, but he'll take it.
And you notice Smythe favoring that left shoulder.
Yep.
As some of the starters get a nice round of applause on their way to the bench. Pelcher completes the three-point play. That's 9 points for the sophomore out of Albany Academy. And there is the left shoulder injury suffered earlier in the ballgame. And as you pointed out, Rob, he was immediately, before he even hit the ground, clutching at that left shoulder. And based on the way he's favoring it, you got to wonder about his availability for tomorrow night.
Yep, good to see him back on the bench, but clearly favoring it there, and that'll be a key for them. But the one thing about this Iona team, they've got real good depth. I mean, going into the game, a lot of contrasting styles between St. Peter's, and they want to grind you out, make it a defensive game, and get the scoring down into the 50s and 60s, where Iona wants to go up and down the floor. But the other big difference is the depth, and you got to figure that on the third game in 3 days that depth really starts to become a factor. Iona's bench much deeper than St. Peter's.
Time now to take a look at our Pepsi Max slams of the game. Well, we'll wait until the next dead ball, but you can guess when we do an Iona game who it's going to be.
Who, Chris Pelcher?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's had a couple.
You never know.
Well, we'll keep you guessing at least.
That's a good tease. Pelcher's out of the ball game now. Is it Chris Pelcher or is it Mike Glover?
Yeah, I thought it might be Glover. Yeah.
Going with Glover with the tomahawk and then the breakaway.
But you always get a couple of choices with Glover. And look who's at the giving end of all those dunks. Scott Machado with his double-digit assists. And pretty much you go up and down the roster. Machado may not have scored it, but boy, he got everybody involved. Glover finishing plays right and left. Smythe early on getting involved. Dwight with the big game. Jenkins, you get the idea. This is a total team effort, especially on the offensive end with that execution once again.
Rob, in fact, Machado has tied an Iona record for a MAAC tournament game with 12 assists in this ball game. He tied Marvin McCullough, who did it in 2003, and Jason Young, who also had 12 assists in a game 11 years ago, back in the year 2000.
That's just going to help his assist total on the season. Came in at 7.4. He said was leading the country in assists late in the season, but then finished up the last 2 regular season games with just 8 assists in those 2 ball games. So dropped out of that lead spot, but those 12 will get him right back up challenging once again.
Well, Machado, along with UAB's Aaron Johnson and DJ Cooper at Ohio University, have been trading the lead for the last several weeks. Dira Azuma in the game, as is Tommy Pereira. And there is Azuma with the putback.
And for Ryder, certainly not the way that Tommy Dempsey and company wanted to finish it, but they've set a school record 23 wins this season, and this senior class has set a new school record with 82 wins in their career. Banged up a little bit coming in, and certainly they missed Mike Ringgold at his best, but I don't know, even if they had him, if they were going to be able to stop this Iona buzzsaw.
There's another three-pointer, the first for Sean Armand. That's the 14th three-point bucket for Iona. Again, that's one off the all-time tournament record of 15 set by LaSalle 21 years ago. That record will stand for at least another night. Iona advances to the MAAC championship game tomorrow against St. Peter's. So we'll have a rematch from 5 years ago where Iona beat St. Peter's. None of the same players. Neither are the same coaches, but a couple of original programs from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference getting together tomorrow night with an NCAA tournament bid on the line. Our Pepsi Max players of the game, that terrific outside combination of Rashawn Dwight and Jermel Jenkins, both were knocking down threes from the start.
Now they combined for 11 of Iona's 14 threes, and their ability to stretch out the defense and knock down those shots allowed Machado to get driving lanes, get into the paint, and also allowed their other first-team All-MAAC performer, Mike Glover, to have his way inside.
Well, it comes down to this. Tomorrow afternoon, the 18th ranked Marist Red Foxes will play Loyola for the women's championship. MAAC Player of the Year Erica Allensbach will be on display on ESPN UHD. And then tomorrow night on ESPN 2 HD, the Iona Gales will face St. Peter's. Jaron Beelan was terrific for the Peacocks in their first 2 ball games. Final thoughts here, Rob.
Well, contrasting styles. Iona coming in red hot, having won 9 in a row. St. Peter's has got to find a way to slow them down with their defense.
Once again, our final score, Iona 83, Rider 59. Don't forget, you can watch the MAAC championship game Monday at 7 Eastern on ESPN 2. St. Peter's will take on Iona for an automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. For Rob Kennedy, Joe Boylan, and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.